We're on day 3 of playoffs, so this is as good as it gets. My name is the Lameshade22 or Snazzy, it depends who you talk to. And with me is Mr. DuMmTm.
Yeah, it's been a short few minutes since we've casted together, but this should be a fun one here, nice and early for me. So we'll see if these teams did their homework for them here in the semi-final.
Yeah, and there is the gimmick with this cup, of course. As far as we're concerned, it's a gimmick. We're running essentially the EU thing with...
Yeah, that's crazy. You run the normal rules.
I know, right? So it's a little bit quicker is pretty much the intention. But we've gone live. We're in the first mid at this. It's looking fairly aggressive from both teams here, but they're sort of posturing off against each other. Lev's the first person to go down, putting Goon Squad on the back. But they do pick up Atten on med, which is going to put them back in the good books. They have actually thrown most of their team out of the midpoint to try and get away with, keeping their medic alive, especially while they're on this lower player ad. But there's a few players pushing towards them now.
Oh yeah, the chase is on. They want this map to go down, but the DuMmTm will not succeed. And with that, there's a lot of pressure already out of the situation. One soldier behind against 2 is not a fight worth fighting, but unfortunately, it's too late to call it quits now. Wiethoofd cannot escape, but suddenly, for, I mean, a good reason, right? They chased that, but it's gonna cost them any chance to have a fight on mid at this rate. Milka will get deeper into mid, and that is just the conclusion of the mid fight. Long one in theory, right, with this being the real cap, I suppose, but it's not over yet. The action just keeps going right into second, because they're not slowing down at all. They have super advantage. You gotta take this fall as long as you can.
Yeah, and I can totally understand why they'd want to be getting so aggressive here, because if they wait too long, there's already 75% on Atten. It's
oh no! Okay, maybe you need to watch for those.
Oh, probably want to look for traps as well.
That's the illusion of time pressure with this rule set. It's not that bad, but if you're playing it for the first time, it's certainly just, oh, wait, half the timer's gone at all times? Wait, where did the time go? So you gotta find a happy middle ground of playing like a tiny bit more with the with time in mind. But as long as you play a reasonable pace, it shouldn't be too bad. You shouldn't have to rush things this much anyway. They're eating the consequences now, and never mind. There you go, Aaron. Beautifully makes up for this. No one can stop these medics from dying.
That's actually unbelievable. Picking up that frag on Atten there from that's. So we're back to Mikau having an ad, which we shouldn't be, but we are.
I mean, I guess they deserved it. It was a really nice jump out of nowhere. They didn't expect it, and I mean, hey, you have to, right? With players of this caliber, someone's gotta have to try, and will most certainly do it as well, to stop the advantage from just rolling you across the map. Because now it just goes back the other way again, and this time around they're looking for them. Wiethoofd caught early, sniper in the back is not gonna get much going either past the spam up top, so there you go. This time around, nothing much more to worry about than that. Gets the point going, and this can go straight to the last as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and they're looking to come through that door 4. They have used the Uber. They haven't quite picked up the gun yet. First thing to go down there was the gun. Players rotating through that spawn as the Uber fades. Deft is on the... They have picked up Tachyon. Krolek goes down though. That's Rocky for anyone who might know his previous acts. We've seen a few more frags come through. In the meantime, it's looking a little bit like it's actually favoring the Filet Minion. And we're seeing...
Barely as well, with the overkill just down. No, he goes for the point!
Holy yeah.
Absolute crackhead maneuvers, but it's not going to work out for them. And suddenly, that's just the medic alone. This is a scary moment, but it seems that the backup has arrived in time. Just absolutely out of nowhere trying to follow the mad one.
And Aaron goes for it again, nearly picking up Atten, the med for Filet Minion, as Hay goes for it as well. So they've thrown a couple of soldiers, but I don't know if they needed to throw 2 soldiers there. I mean, the Ubers are fairly equal.
I mean, hey, you don't do nothing, and then they just keep this advantage, I suppose, as much as it's not much of one at all. Suddenly, though, another sticky trap. These have been fairly impactful ones already here. Suddenly makes a huge change, because now there's just numbers down for Red Team in the fight, but the Blue Team's more than happy to take. Krolek a little bit ahead of the beam there, but what are they going to do? Stay in with only 4 alive? Looks like they very much understand the situation at hand here post-exchange, and then one sticky trap just turned on the entire fight.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing these stickies actually have a crazy impact in this map so far. But
yeah, I mean, that might just fall back to what I said earlier, right? You just overestimate how much time you lost with the rule change, and you just play a little bit more hasty than you maybe should. In these situations now, it's a massive fight of it. They want to keep this one going on blue. messy fight for sure. Like 1.5 players behind on the flank for the blue team certainly will turn some heads, but left going down early makes this a whole lot more awkward.
Yeah, and they lose Hay as well, which is, I mean, it's definitely put them on the back foot here. Even though they've got that ad, they're 3 players down. You're not defending it. It's just not happening. So we'll see if Deft has anything sneaky that he can get away with his stickies. I don't love his odds, I have to admit.
Well, I mean, sometimes you have to fight the odds to find out if it can work. Sometimes, I mean, they forced the evil on Filet Minion, so a good thing happened if we just, like, ignore the other bright half of your screen saying how many people died.
I mean, yeah, but somehow they managed to kill Atom there, and they're capping 2, but there's players behind. This is...
That backup's not gonna work.
This is odd. It's very odd. What's going on here?
Choices have been made, I suppose. You gotta live with the consequences, and they don't live much longer anyway. Just put them out of the misery real quick. That's the first round. Somehow this is the one to do it. Not any of the men dying earlier. No, it's the weird half back cab push thing. A weird one there, but I guess it was so weird and they didn't quite understand it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think the timing was a little bit off because they had those, what was it, 3 players on middle trying to back. Which, if they'd gotten it, absolutely perfect. But the moment they did, you've now got 3 players that are just not involved in the fight.
Big bombs towards the corner here. Both soldiers for blue tried to get in there, but neither of them can actually get anything at all. Happens really weak, but it's just still alive at the end of the day. And if you commit this much for a medic kill and don't get it, you're just gonna be taking the L. And lucky to get your mat out alive like that.
Yeah, extremely lucky. Mick out, like, really should not have gotten out there. But the fact that he has means that they're going to be able to defend last. I don't know. It's looking pretty good for Filet Minion. I need to stop putting the accent on. Filet Minion.
That's the entire point of the name, so I think you're getting it right.
But yeah, it's looking pretty good for them. They're looking pretty keen to try to get through this lobby area, especially now that they've picked up a salt. Just have to see if they want to push it so eagerly.
Oh, there's a play happening on the flank on the right side, trying to get DuMmTm in, but the level 1 gun, as short-lived as its impact might have been here, did deny the soldier from taking position behind. It could have been very much a playmaker for them to work off, right? Just a distraction in the backline, something that they have to address and turn some heads maybe. Not going to be the case here, and in fact with 1 down, they're daring just the tiniest bit. Spy busted out for a play early on the invis watch as well, so you only have so much time to set up a play. It's gotta work when you go for it. Here it goes, Krollik decloaking as well, but Admin's going to look back the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, they had his number. I think they might have heard the decloak. He might have been just
you know what it might have been? They might have seen him pick up the ammo pack besides the point, the small one.
No one notices that.
That thing disappears for no reason, and it's even worse when a health pack that just disappears out of nowhere.
Look, it's entirely possible. But either way, we have got the respawn. They tried to get a bit of pressure in the meantime there. Weren't quite able to get away with anything. So it's just going to be...
was coming out, actually, out of nowhere. Just blue team wanting the fight into lobby.
Yeah, they're quite keen. They've actually used that over so aggressively. It's looking a little bit better for them as well. They picked up a Dolo, the demo man, which is absolutely fantastic. That sort of advantage is everything they... so they're going to be able to cap 2 here. They've slowed it straight on down, despite still having that demo. But I think they've noticed that they've still got it, and they're pretty keen to get into mid now.
Yeah, double pick still in their favor right now. It's going to bode very well for the immediate 5 and auto spawning now, but they've got a good headway onto the point already. Here's the bombs coming in, trying to get the net, but the scouts on the high ground red team just fighting back as much as they can. They know the demo is coming. They just need to arrow him up after his jumps, and they might be in fighting shape again, but Tin Can gets caught early, and suddenly things are once again against their favor here. And look at that, they understand the situation pretty nicely. They held on for long enough to see if they can have a actual genuine shot at this with 6 players alive, but the second time they went down to 5, they knew better than trying to stay any longer against a fight that was not in their hands.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good for the Goon squad so far. They're able to take this second as well. It is going to be equal Ubers as they push into last here. We saw in some matches earlier they were having a bit of luck with Snipe, so we might see if we end up with a stalemate. But as I say that, we actually see the Ubers exchange.
Ooh, nice shots by Krollik as well. They went in very keen for the fight there on red, but they got met just as much by the aggression of Goon Squad to try to take him out early, and that worked out really well. 1 down on both sides here is maybe not a winning formula for Goon Squad, but certainly is not a losing one at this point, right? Makes the numbers even. They get themselves out of danger against that team that was incredibly keen to take the refight on this one.
Yeah, they managed to get a trade go off in the, pardon me, IT area as well, which is trying to give them some sort of entry, but it's actually looking a little bit better for Filet Minion. They're able to pressure a little bit more just while Krolik's down. That smidge long, but I think it's going to be back to a standard reset.
Yeah, this is where standard we see reset when there's a spy on the field.
I didn't even notice. Oh my god.
Okay, well, he's just checking. They also wanted to make sure this is a standard reset.
Well, I suppose this is where we see your dirty European rule set come into play. As there's only 3 minutes and 30 seconds before it'll reset to a mid-fight. So we see the big old bomb, double bomb, 2 soldiers both get missed, but they do pick up a scout.
So much damage.
Oh, and the force.
Yeah, they got the force. It's more important than that. Scout just was an unfortunate circumstance. Both of them do so much damage, right? That was enough damage to kill 2 people. Unfortunately, one of them can just say no to that for him and the second guy taking damage. So it's just a scout awkwardly caught in the end, didn't get a flash. Unfortunate as it is, I guess it's better than dying, but is it really when there is a very likely chance you're in last in the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty dangerous to be trying to hold 2 with no Uber here against a full Uber. But they're already up to 50%. They have got that sniper. They've got the NG setting up on last already. The push is coming through. But
very slow one by
Goon
Goon Squad.
See a lot of fighting.
Yeah, Goon Squad's taking this one nice and slow, so Red Team has plenty of time to react to this and just realize, okay, they're taking it slow, so we just fall back here, let them have this. We don't have to worry about being like with nothing on last right now. We have a gun up, we have a bottom line for the defense, but there we go. Push comes in on left immediately over the heavy, and it's only at 90.
He is at 90,
beautiful jump.
He just dies with 95%. I was going to say, I think he's going to have to Uber for the fight, but here we go. Now we're seeing a far more dominant push out of the Goons here. They've got enough players up to really make things happen. They're picking up players with that damage difference that they've got. And they're picking up that round.
And there you go. That's a 2-0 lead for Goon Squad. Looking good so far. Still plenty of time left on the clock, of course. What is it? 20 minutes or 17 exactly. Certainly a time for the comeback, but things got to step up for Filet Minion just a tiny bit if they want to actually be contesting this. And good mid-fight certainly would be a start there. We didn't have too shabby of one last time. They just got to make sure they have the same survivability this time around.
Oh yeah, I mean, they've been playing with fire with these mid-fights. So far, it's looking pretty standardized, a little bit more spread out on the side of Filet Minion. DuMmTm getting stuck in that IT sort of area. Aaron with a nice big chip after Hay died as well. So that's going to mean both soldiers down. One of the scouts as well, Lev, going down. And that's looking fantastic for for Filet Minion.
Dev tried to stay close and choke down. He just immediately ate a pipe for no chance he's going to survive anyone's attempts at his life. However, him standing there is just barely wasting time for the Matt to get out. I don't know if it's ending up being worth it in the end or even remotely has impact here, but you can hope that at least the medic surviving might be on the DuMmTm's part here. As it is though, they're still stuck on last, and nothing's good about that one for them.
No, nothing's good about that one for them, but the only sort of good thing is they did manage to keep their med alive, so it's going to be a much stronger ability to defend here as they sort of commit to that far right side, that door 1 sort of area. The rest of the, what do you call it, Filet Minion team taking that lobby area. They have picked up the sentry gun and one of the soldiers, which might give them everything they need to try to break in here. They get a bit of damage through on that right-hand side. Lot of damage coming through now. Krolik down very, very low. They do lose DuMmTm a little bit too deep, perhaps. And I think that'll slow it back on down. Bit more of a reset.
That certainly seems to be a trend then, right? It's the second time we've seen someone in these like sort of even situations. The last tried to get far back into the right side area behind the opponent's team. Got there this time around, still didn't live very long. I do wonder what the actual end game of that's supposed to look like for these two rosters. Both of them have tried it, so it's got to be more to that than just having a guy behind, of course. We're at too high a level for this to just be the end of the plan, I suppose. But none of them have gotten there too successfully yet. Plenty of time still in 4 minutes left is a good amount of time to get something sorted. But still got to get a move on here. This gun is going to be a problem if you just let it stand there for too long.
I mean, they've been doing a great job of spamming the gun out.
There he goes again, Rintin in the backlines.
Yeah, Rintin very, very deep behind there, but they do lose Tachyon as he tries to get through on that right-hand side, gets absolutely minced by the gun, and now they lose Rintin as well in that back line. So that's 2 players down. I think that's everything Goon Squad wants to be able to push out. Krolik getting very, very deep with his med. Med catches a pipe. They end up having to use their deep onto Chuck, but Aston has held that Uber for so long. And now
that's just bullying Krolik all alone between like 5 Uber players. I mean, that is still good news for Blue in some ways, because suddenly Uber's just gone while they all waste time shooting one guy, but they can't do much with it. They try to repush quick, but the consequences are pretty bad for them.
Yeah, extremely grim. Minty trying to get some damage in there as they tried to back on out. Did end up getting picked up for it. Deft catching 2 quick pipes from Adolo. Adolo now in a bit of a fight.
Not done yet.
He's not done yet. Manages to pick up the scout. Very, very low health. 18 manages to get. But it's still even Ubers. So with these 2-player ad, including Demo, I mean, they might try to push.
Oh, they certainly are looking to already here, but the heavy in the back with the brass. He's coming out of one last minute. Don't need to worry about the movement speed if you just walk on ref to the point first. And on life support with the arrows for so long, doing huge damage to Krolik. Might even get some spawns back on the field to discover them when they're fighting so badly. The Med wants the cap time, but they're just outnumbered now. This heavy out of nowhere just caught them just barely too much by surprise.
That is incredible. They didn't even use Uber there. They've only just gotten it, so it's still even Ubers.
I guess that's a blessing in disguise, right? If you have to use that, it's still kind of miserable, because you know they have as well on the other side, and your numbers down with their spawns being faster. Probably not a very good idea to push there with the Evo once he did get in the middle of that. So they make the most of it, keep them locked on last for sure, even if it's an even stalemate. But well, this has taken quite a while. We're already 3 minutes into this current timer here, so they got to figure out something that works quick.
Yeah, I mean, they've only got 1:40 to make something happen, or it actually put Filet Minion at a massive disadvantage, having to reset to a mid-fight. This might be... I've cast a few of these games now with this timer config. This might be the first time I've seen it reset.
I mean, yeah, it happens. When your pushing team just beefs enough, then... I mean, if you beat like, what, for 5 minutes straight, do you deserve more chances? It's really the mindset you need to approach this change in timing at. And, I mean, certainly the rule set says at the moment they probably don't, but they get one last chance.
Here they go, pushing on in. They do lose one of their soldiers nice and early, but they do manage to pick up the sentry gun. It's looking pretty grim so far. But the push has come out. We do see Goon Squad looking like they want to cap this one. However, there's players on the back. There's DuMmTm on the last point. No one was there to stop it.
And there you go, the timer swings both ways. They wanted to get quickly out of here to use the momentum they had at our last before the timer runs out, but they just didn't check everything. And there you go, the rough timer can be punishing both ways as it turns out. Very much so. Filet Minion getting, I will say, a well-deserved round, I suppose. They tried many times, they tried really hard there to get this one. This will do it, makes it close 2-1 now.
I cannot believe that was how that round ended. Coming into the next one, though, we see a nice big bomb out of both of the soldiers on the Goon Squad. They do manage to pick up a Dolo, but not much else. There's a few frags either way now, but it's looking like it's favouring Filet Minion just a little bit more. They have better control of that high ground. They've bullied the players into the corner. We've got both of the scouts onto the med. Hey, the only player left alive, and that is that, ladies and gentlemen. A nice fat wipe.
Yeah, they've been winning the mid fights, but not like this. So it's late into the game. That is scary news for Goon Squad. They figured it out even more so than already. There was no turning away from this fight on this fight here at all. And it's going to be dire consequences now. Mika with no Uber. Gun is getting tested. I mean, they still have time to put up something else again. It's not going to be too bad losing that one just yet, but maybe it's not going to be level 3. That might just about make a difference. In fact, no, we're just going back to heavy. That worked pretty well last time, but it was a very messy situation that time around, and certainly not with this much of a new bad.
I mean, I kind of agree with the heavy play here. I mean, there's no way you're going to get enough time to get a level 3 gun. They're doing what they can in the meantime, though, as the Uber comes straight on through door 4. A lot of damage on the gun nice and early. Hay really stuck there as well, so that's the first frag gone. Hay, the first one to go down. Krolik on that heavy, though, does manage to take out a Doppo. Losing that Demo Man when you're trying to push last, a little bit grim. It's such a crazy fight, but the Goon squad get absolutely wrecked by the tail end. And there we have it. We've equalized at 2 for 2.
Alright, well, they might have shown that in the even over game states on last, they struggled a little bit getting a good play going, but the second they have an advantage, they're not letting it go whatsoever, and in just like 2 minutes, that feels like, they tied this right back up. 10 minutes left in the last third of the game, and it's back to even.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a kind of incredible comeback so far. As we come into the next mid, Hay, the first person to go down, the only person to go down so far, and we actually see the Goon squad just saying, you know what? It's not. Let's just not.
I mean, it's better than what happened the last year, I suppose, so can't really blame them at this point here, right? You gotta play smart sometimes, not hard, but still gotta get around somewhere along the way, right? And this is not gonna come that easy. However, maybe playing defense is pretty good. It worked on last, except when it didn't earlier, so second that can work as well. And so at this point, Filet Minion is getting a little bit ahead of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, losing 3 as they try to get in there, and they lose their Demo Man as they try to get out. This is everything that Goon Squad wants. I mean, they've managed to cap mid pretty much for free. They're probably going to end up using the Uber into second. We do see an exchange. No.
What is the no? This is Uber's
it's just one Uber, and here comes the counter. Holy cow, that's such a long time. They'd already faded before the Uber even got used out of Goon Squad. They picked up a couple of players.
That felt like it severely lacked an actual focus call on what they wanted to accomplish with that. Both scouts went different ways and wasn't sure if they wanted to actually shoot the medic with that. Very weird one.
However, Goon Squad having used their Uber, it puts them in a bit of a strange position here, but there should be no reason that they're not pushing right now. But there is. They can't really push in. They're down a player. It's even Ubers. What are you going to do, really? That must be weird.
Well, I see what one of them's trying to do, and it's crawling back to Spy. Man's been kind of the resident off-classer for a Goon Squad at this point here, mostly defensively, of course, the last few minutes, but Spy play, I mean, we didn't see any too much success on any of them before, but who's to say that the clutch last second Spy play here couldn't just be the way they win the game?
Did he just get bumped? No, he didn't get bumped. He's decloaking there. He's in a very dangerous spot. They're probably going to hear him. He does actually get seen decloaking. He has to go for it. He ends up getting absolutely destroyed. And that is that. They get a trade with DuMmTm in that lobby area. The Demo Man and Soldier are able to make that one happen. So that's going to equalize things, prevent any push.
Okay, enlighten me, Snazzy. How common is Inviswatch compared to Cloak and Dagger in Australia usually?
It's probably fairly close to like 50-50 in my experience. But I think it's leaning more towards Cloak and Dagger these days.
That is surprising, but both times we've seen Spicy and Wars on Inviswatch, I'm not sure if that might be motivated because, oh, we have less time, I don't want to sit there with Cloak and Dagger for a minute, and they just think they have to. Hard to say, of course, when you don't have, like, previous player tendencies in front of you, I guess. Hard to get a stat on them, I imagine as well. I don't think we have logs for that.
Yeah, I actually, now that I think about it, I don't know. I think it is about 50-50. It's kind of personal preference. Because the info is kind of less important, I suppose. We all know each other so well. But here we go. The Uber comes through. Door 3, a bit of a trade of Ubers so far. They pick up the Sentry gun. They also manage to pick up Bishop Minty, but they do lose Lev for it and Kronik. So that's both of their scouts down, which is a bad spot to be in when you're trying to push the stuff. You need that point capping a bit. However, they picked up so many players that I don't think they even need to worry about deft capping that point out and bringing it back to an advantage for 3-2.
Yeah, that was surprisingly good. It looked really bad at one point when they were rushing the right side. A couple of like the scout died early or something like this, but as late as the soldier play was coming from up top and from the right side into the team pushed up towards the right on Filet Minion, it worked really well the second they got the point pressure. That was a little late to the party there, maybe to get back to point, but they got there in the end and it forced them to an awkward position where there's a double point and 2 soldiers jumping you, and that's just a tough one to get out of. They will not manage, and we got back in the lead.
Yeah, the Goons playing this mid a little bit slower than we've seen from them so far, a little bit less aggressive. They've got a soldier onto their mid, but holy Bro, Mikhail managing to surf that one and get it out. And in the meantime, Deft has gone all the way in, double piped the men. And as they come back in now, they have this heal advantage. They've still got both scouts in their head. That's like a formidable set. Here we go. They're taking the fight. Bishaminti and his scout partner getting very, very close, trying to make things happen. This fight is just going to keep going. The Uber actually ends up getting used out of Mikhail there. He took just too much damage that he had to use the Uber. This is bizarre, man.
Yeah, I mean, it proves you wrong. This fight's not going to keep going if you just forcibly end it, but I mean, I guess force is the right word here, right? It isn't probably what they really wanted to do. Another hiding soldier flavor that can get the unfortunate situation that the medic can serve this away. Milkout is so far out of reach at that point to hit any rockets that even were close to lethal damage on 100 health medic after the first one. Rough times for the soldier man, but they're going to fight back anyway. They're still down, 4 minutes left. Round timer, map timer doesn't matter anymore. It's all the same at this point. And they got to press forward really badly now.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely feeling the pump, I think, on Filet Minion. However, I mean, it's even Uber. This is probably as good as it gets for them if they're going to be feeling this pump with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. I don't know. I don't know. I think they've actually got a chance at this one. If they can get some sort of decent intro here, maybe throw a soldier through or something. I mean, at the end of the day, right, even if you're tough on time at this position, you still gotta take a little bit of it, as little as you have, even to just play like smart, get an actual good start on this. It's so hard to destroy yourself into an expected to work with a straight up exchange. You gotta have like a really, really smart call in the middle of the fight on how you wanna approach the rest of it. It's hard to imagine they would like to take that situation like it, and so they try to get a soldier bomb going, but DuMmTm is just shut down way early. Yeah, they took quite a lot of their combo through that IT area, and Rin, I mean, just trying to get through that little door, just got juggled. Like, there was nothing he could do, just get absolutely minced. So, I don't know, we'll see. Once the spawn comes back up, how do they want to take this one? They get a bit of damage on the Deft through choke there. Maybe that'll encourage them.
Potentially, but for now, Deft is just sitting back here, nothing too much happening on that front. It's just a spam exchange, 3 minutes left, time is ticking, and every second passing by is a good time for Goon Squad. They just gotta bring this over to the finish line right now. There's a scout pushing it off the soldier distraction. Krolik looking in the sky, not trusting the rest of his team to go for the guy that's way too far to reach for him to chase. And then they strike. It's an awkward Uber fight as a result of it, as smart as that might have been. And that player's down as well. Bisha did die in all this, and it's a rough one here. Deft trades on his way towards the Deft himself here, and in the meantime, they just rush the left side. While there's a tiny bit of a fight happening a bit, they're just rushing the left side, rushing through into sewers and take it from there. Really nicely smart rotation by Goon Squad to take the pressure away from choke and get themselves into a way winning position.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking absolutely dominant there as they push into last. No one even there to really defend it whatsoever. Taking the scoreline to 4-2. Now 2 minutes and 20.
It's over.
That? Yeah, I think that's over.
I hate to inform you, but this shit's over. There's like, if the other team stopped playing, I think they could win. Thankfully, there's no such circumstances in Australia where unlosable situations have been lost, so I don't think they have anything to worry about.
No, of course. But look, while we're in this dead time, we're still going to see a bit of fighting as we go into the next map, I suppose. So this is still kind of important. And it's looking much better for Filet Minion. They managed to take that mid fairly convincingly. Haven't quite managed to pick up the mid. So Mikhail managing to get out of that one just barely, 40 health on his last. They managed to gap 2 as well, and they're pushing straight on into last.
Alright, well, I mean, I don't know if I would call this push, to be honest, but they tried.
Hey, man. I'm just looking to be able to cast something, man.
Or you could cast this push, question mark. I mean, they went in from 2, but also just got forced immediately the second they went in there. Turns out that Uber is just not going anywhere at all. It's a heavy staring them down. They're just leaving. I think the writing's on the wall very much. I hear a sticky bomb, sticky jumper, sorry. Oh, there it is, onto last. Dono going in and takes himself out to end the game.
I found it a bit interesting that pretty much every round was dominant one way or the other. like none of them were too back and forth in the individual rounds. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to a close game as well when the losing team was the one winning the mid fights, I suppose, right? Like, they had stuff that made Goon have to very much fear and work for it, having to come back individually from the round, starting them up on the back foot. I guess that makes the win more impressive in some ways as well. However, it's also still concerning, right? If our mid fights aren't bad now, what if they figure out something other than the mid fights in the upcoming maps, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the next map we're going to is Snakewater, but
Blue team won one mid fight. Oh god, I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah, let's have a look at these logs here while we've got some time. Like you said, Blue team won one mid fight according to the logs, or at least they got the first cap that one time. That's pretty grim, man. To be able to come away with a 4-2 scoreline and only have won one mid fight.
I mean, spin it the other way, right? Imagine winning every mid fight and you lose 4-2.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be concerning if they get any better on mid fights than the other maps as well, to put it the other way. That's a bit of a scary one.
It's very, very dangerous. I think we should get our finest mapper on. I think that'll be the next experimental cup, I'm sure.
I mean,
then you can see it in action.
Like, it's weird though too. Like, some maps are just like genuinely good, right? Snakewater, I think most people wouldn't say it's a bad map, but there's just like the one or two things even on good maps that we just hate. And maybe we just need to take drastic measures for those. We will see what drastic measures will be taken in this game, because Filet Minion is down bad. One map down. It was the 3. There's no place to be. They gotta find a way out of here quick.
Oh yeah, and as they come into this mid, they're looking a little bit more aggressive, sending Tachyon very, very deep behind. I don't think anyone even knows he's back there. He's coming back around through that saw area, rotating through. No one even knows he's there. We see Hay, the first person to go down. Aaron followed up very, very quickly. A lot of damage out of Tachyon and Rintin. A lot of damage picking up Krolik and Mick. It's looking absolutely gorgeous for Filet Minion.
They played that so passive on Goon and they still couldn't deal with the double soda bomb, right? The one behind obviously came out of nowhere. It was a nice serve by Milk Cow, but the second sort of Tachyon coming into this bombed in where the medic used to be before the serve, and still has time to just completely react with so much time to spare, serve the jump the other way on mid, kill the medic, and no counter aggression came out of Goon at all in any of this. If you play a passive mid like this, you gotta be much more preferred for the bombs, and they're gonna eat the consequences now.
Yeah, Goon Squad had a very strange rollout, I thought. They pretty much sent their entire team through, like, the top left of Saw, like, out on the catwalk. I guess in an attempt to dodge the bomb, but clearly it didn't work, you know?
Well, I mean, I hope for their sake they can improve their next mid fight. But we'll see if we head there anytime soon. This last push could put them back for a second chance on that. Really quickly, Gun gets taken down. Not a whole lot of pressure anymore. No one closes denying the spawn there. They get hay out of it, I suppose. Bomb comes in. Aaron just taken out the sky. Really, really nicely. The heavy finally gets up to the point here left, just making his way there, but focused down really nicely. With 2 kills already in their favor, they can take a second to focus down the heavy and get this damage on the board. Didn't play too aggro on this whole fight, just forced them to aggress their way and happily took the fight that way.
I mean, look, I don't know what to tell you. Filet Minion, they are looking a bit more confident, shall we say.
I mean, it's the 2 strong points of the last map, right? The mid fights and the last pushes were both really clean. And there was no in-between anywhere else on this round at all. So if they can just keep winning them like this should be a quick game for them, for sure.
Oh, for sure. We see the nice big bomb out of Hay and Aaron, though, and they managed to pick up Aaron very, very early. So that's a 2-for-1 trade, but taking out that... It's gorgeous. However, Goon Squad having to bail on out. They're actually down a little bit too low to be continuously fighting one. So it does look like Filet Minion may be able to pick up the mid. As the med tries to come back in, takes so much damage. Bishop Minty able to just forward and take out Mikau as Atten spawns. That's going to give them so much ad, man.
That's already what's going well. While all of that was happening, there was also just a bonus fight on the flank between the Soldier and the Scout. I think Tachyon beat like 3 rockets and still got the kill in the end on the Scout. That already would have been nice to just like get some pressure from the backline sort of force, but no, it's just all in all the way. One guy behind, I guess, makes them fear, but another one up front just walks right over them. That's one way to do it.
It is incredible that that they got away with.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to take drastic measures, like I said. And they're being taken alright. They want to win this still. Even if it was looking rough before. Now, I mean, sure, good with one mid, but did they really? It's a bit of a rocket one now.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a bit of a reset, really. Running that time down just a little. But we'll just have to see how they really want to... Okay, the Uber gets used straight through Saw very, very early from Filet Minion. They're getting very, very forward. However, the counter Uber comes out of Mikau and Rocky straight onto the mid there. Did they get forced?
No, they just wanted to take fight. Maybe they thought they had like the smallest ad or something. Either way, they tried to take like a tough like window fight there with the Ubers as they were anyway, and now it's just over. Then while the whole fight hasn't even ended on second, they're already sending people on last. And that's just it. It was just one wrong call, and they were really wrong on that one, trying to take the fight because Goon was in like no position to have the use in response to that whatsoever. So they just had like an infinitely better Uber.
I mean, they used so early though. Like even in Saw, I don't know.
It must have been a wrong call on Ubers, I think. Right? There's no way otherwise you would even attempt to go for that. And it's going to be a bad one for them here. They like the success they had with the bombs before, but look at that, Filet Minion very ready for it. This time around, Admin, no danger at all here. It will still lose a lot of place. They get a lot of space for it, and they're not letting them retake it at all.
No, they are not. However, it has equalized. It's a scout and a demo man with the med against a soldier and a scout with the med. It's looking a little bit more powerful out of Goon Squad here with the demo man. They've managed to cap that one. There was a bit of counter aggression in the meantime, but nothing actually came from it. So it's sort of just a... But 20 ad to the side of Goon Squad.
Yeah, I think you're very right. The Devilman made a big difference. A bomb in the backline trying to get to the wedding. That's the force as well to get back on topic, unless there's a whole fight happening here. Let's wait for that one first. Oh no, Hayes behind as well. Into lobby, tries to get on the medic, will successfully do just that. And this is not de-escalating anytime soon. 2 down each. Uber coming out of red team will probably keenly get them back in second, but now they're just stuck in a 4v4 fight, and that's going to be a long fight to get out of if you have weak players like this, though. I don't think it's going to take a long time at all. Blue team very well the damage they dealt before the force, and they just pushed right in with that in mind.
Yeah, Goon Squad have to be happy with that one. They picked up so many players on that second point. It's now still a 2-player ad, including the demo man down, and they're pushing straight into last. They picked up another couple of players. They've already got players on last, and there you have it. 2-1.
There you go. Yeah, to get back to the mid-fight, I guess, really quickly before the next one starts. The Devil Man alive is just such a difference from here. You said they wanted to refight, but they just had to walk into sticky spam doing it. At that point, like, half your health is gone when you just wanted to barely fight at all. Had to ditch from there. The whole thing escalated afterwards, of course, but Goon Squad makes it work despite being forced into a slightly awkward position, having to use first in this whole endeavor. Nice adaptability here, and once again proving that outside the set plays, they're looking incredibly strong.
Oh yeah, they're looking very, very strong. Nice big bomb out of Aaron, and they do end up going down. Def managing to pick up a Dolo, though, off their damage. That gives them a little bit of an entry. However, the rest of the team has crumbled. Goon Squad left with only Mikau and Krolik bailing out of that one. Tachyon very, very deep onto Krolik there, trying to collect Mikau. Wasn't quite able to make that happen. So it is going to be equal Ubers for last, unless Goon Squad decides, hey, let's defend too, which I think they might. I mean, unless they decide they want to fight mid.
Yeah, no, Goon Squad is just, what if we kissed on Snakewater mid? Haha, JK, and then they actually don't do it, never mind. They very much thought about it now. It looked like they were very keen to just say mid-fight number 2. But we're not getting one just yet here. It's gonna be Filet Minion taking this one. I guess they're gonna be very relieved to have a moment to figure this one out, but it's gonna be a tough one to break either way, so they better be taking their time with this.
For sure. Well, look, we say they should be taking their time with this, but they just throw a couple of players straight through that sword area, try to get some ground. The force actually comes out. Mikau ending up using the Uber, and it's so much better for Filet Minion. Indeed, they've even picked up a couple of players on the backside. In the meantime, Adolo very, very low, though, does end up going down in the tail end of that. It's still going, though, but the health is looking so much better for Goon Squad. They're picking up frags as well. It's looking pretty good for them. I think they're going to be able to push back into mid for free.
Yeah, that was a nicely played, like, whole, like, force scenario they put themselves in on Filet Minion, but the second they repushed, actually, and trying to just take space with this, it just fell apart. And Olo just, like, alone for a moment, immediately taken down. And someone lost, like, that 1v1 as well in the middle of the whole scenario, and it just fell apart by the seams here, despite such a good start. And now Goonsport can kind of reverse it on them a little bit. It's not big uber ad, but it's enough to make headways into second wave.
Oh, definitely. However, we actually see Hay able to pick up a Rin-Tin Can, and that's going to give him a little bit more ability to push in with that one-player pad. Lev down very, very low in the lower area there. I don't know how Lev survived.
The man was just like looking the opposite way of the opponent's team the entire time they walked in, just to check for sticky traps, which I guess, given some incidents on the first map, is justified in some ways, but didn't see any of the damage coming his way at all.
Yeah, he really did not. He's got to work on the eyes and the back of the head stuff, I tell you.
Alright, well, things slowed down for a moment here. Ubers are even, of course, but that doesn't mean they want to try at least a little bit. Hey, back with full health, trying to sneak in there. That jump's not going to do it, so the second one might. Everyone's just still looking awkwardly. The rocket hits as well. This was such a good shot, but it's not 150.
Single-digit health on Atten at the tail end of that jump. Yeah, the force actually comes out, Mikau ending up having to use on the midpoint there. Too many players coming through and onto it. It is a bit of a trade. It's looking so much better for Filet Minion, but they actually have to back off because Krolik was sitting on their second there, just capping it.
Well, that alone won't do much, I suppose. No pressure with that at all. I guess you gotta try. I mean, someone wanted a round of process with that. So why not try again here? I mean, that's basically how they won this round as well, good earlier, right? Just like fight on mid that was really bad and they just kept second in the meantime. So you can't argue with success, I guess. But now you gotta do it the hard way, right? You guys are out of the equation for another moment here. I wouldn't imagine someone will try too hard until they get one up in the first place. So a little bit of downtime here for both teams to figure out how they do want to approach this. One step back to 100%. It's just this little waiting game before you have an optimal attempt at hand. But you gotta earn it once again. A little bit of headway being made here towards this choke area. Or whatever you call it. I've seen this being called 10 different ways. What do you call where blue team is in Australia?
I don't know. I have no idea. Dungeon? Like,
I think Americans call it burger because there's a burger side, and of course they would call it that.
Is there a burger? Oh, there is.
Yes, I didn't have the texture for that. There's also a nugget sign, so I guess it's just even more American if you think about it.
It is extremely American. Yeah, no, I honestly, I've never even thought about what it's called. And I'm yawning away over here, so I'm in no position to be thinking about it. It's not even late,
I
bro.
now think about the players in the situation. They actually got to fire at all cylinders here. Maybe not at 100%, but as closer to it as he can anyway. Whatever's required. And they're trying, alright, but nothing working just yet. Krolik going down in a basically trade for Rin-Tin Can. Just keeps this even 140 left on the clock. No one's figured it out just yet, and this would just directly punish Goonsport for not figuring out one here. They don't want to go back to the mid fights, both because it would lose, obviously, the guaranteed mid position they have right now to a gamble. But those gambles on mid, if you want to call it that, kind of have been heavily rigged in Filet Minion's favor for the most part here. They've been really good on the mid fight, so that you don't want to have it go down to that, right?
See, my question is, if you were Filet Minion, would you sort of intentionally stalemate this out? You only have to hold for another minute and you get to have another crack at the mid-fight, which consistently they've been winning.
With 17 minutes in total, maybe. However, with a spy up your medic's neck, I don't know if they can afford to do that anymore. Just runs in the spy and they're not expecting it at all. I mean, who would do that? There was certainly no pre-mediated spy plays earlier today. Big bomb coming out of Aaron as well. That one does find a victim, but not the one they were looking for. Mikau very weak though, so anything will do. And no one's looking at grass. Where's the rest of the team having anything on the flank in their sight? They needed badly some ice covering that, but the one doing that already died, making the play happen to begin with. And by that point, they're just stuck here to figure it out for themselves now.
See, here we go though, because the timer... Nah, never mind. The timer was still counting down and they were defending too. But there you go. The timer is reset, and with a 2-player disout, including the demo, we do see Filet Minion back to the last, but they do have a nice, clean 30-odd, 40-odd advantage. So that's going to give them enough to push out, for sure.
Now, the last time I watched the Snakewater game the other day, people did not push with disadvantage. So I wouldn't get my hopes up.
Yeah, look, I'm an optimist.
Well, I live by the age-old wisdom, which is push out equals big mistake.
Yeah,
but I think they're disagreeing right now. They want to see something happen.
Yeah, I think that's probably an intelligent point of view to have, but they do use that Uber through the bats area, pushing straight on out into second there. They don't really achieve a heck of a lot with it though, and Mikau now has full ad as they get pushed back through that bats. They didn't even manage to get the cap on.
He wants to go back in so badly.
Dude, everyone is so low on Goon Squad.
Yeah, like Adolo hit like a pipe leaving into lobby and immediately regretted having left at all, because any stick he would have gotten the medic. It's lucky they didn't try any harder so they don't get deleted, but at the same time, he was up now, so luck has run out actually.
Yeah, the Uber has been used through onto the last there. The defense is not looking super awful, but they're struggling against that full Uber with a little bit of player. And there you have it. That's 3-1 for the Goon Squad so far.
You know, I don't want to say I told you so, but...
Yeah, well, look, the thing about that is that...
Down there in Australia, I get... You just gotta hope for the best sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you didn't laugh, you'd cry, wouldn't you?
Okay then, Joker.
We
see who has the last lap on this mid fight here. High bombs incoming through Aaron's trying to get to the medic, but the second he lands, everyone's dead already on his team.
Yeah, so many players down on both teams. It's only Mikau and Krolik left live on the side of the Goon Squad. They even managed to pick up DuMmTm, who was pushing pretty aggressively to try to pick up Mikau. And that's going to mean things are going to equalize yet. And I think we're just back in the exact same position we were a little moment ago, only on the other side of the map.
Well, and with significantly worse scoreline for Filet Minion to play against, it's only halfway through the map. There is theoretically plenty time to do this, but Fury alone has not won Filet Minion the game just yet. Fury alone, I think, would favor them highly given how the bids and last pushes have been looking from them. But reality of the matter is, there's been a team in the way that's just been stopping them just a bit too much so far. Hey, with the big wraparound trying to get through mid, can't really make it happen, just falls back yet again to the rest of his team. And they're just hoping to hold fort for a little bit longer here. Mid reset now, obviously a little bit in the favor, but I think we're far away from that mattering here. Some bombs come in from the flank, red team trying, Winston can't. Just quickly falling to his staff. They think had Solus pushed up to do a double bomb, but they're not daring to do it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, they're able to actually convert that into a fairly pushable advantage here. There's so little health on the side of Filet Minion. But they do actually opt, you know, they say, look, we have 2 rounds. Sure, there's only 3 minutes and 40 before we have to push off this. But for now, we can afford to wait it out. We can keep running that time.
And so they shall sit back on second and force Filet Minion's hands, and we'll see what they can do. The evil minions over here need to figure something out quick to get back into the game. 3-1 won't win itself right now. Rinton can trying once again, but it's close as well as last time. Just quickly shut down. Here, there's a second bomb coming through on the medic. Milkout trying to surf. Doesn't get very far, but the team's quick enough to de-escalate the situation just fine.
Oh yeah, they do a great job of defending their med there. We do see the Uber trade on the middle point as they push on through. They still have this player out. They've even picked up another player in the midst of that Uber, managing to pick up one of the scouts on that upper area, and they pick up a Dolo as the fight finishes. It's just Rintin coming through, doing what he can to reduce that that capping ability. Yeah, no, it's looking pretty dominant from Goon Squad there.
Yeah, maybe this is just where they start to run away with it, right? I mean, they don't need to do too much more to actually win the game at this rate here. Either way, there's one guy still left, though, that they have not accounted for. Prem waiting in the forward spawn. They're all on point. There's everyone to shoot for, but the one snipe does not succeed. That could have brought them back into this really nicely, but it will not happen just yet.
It has, however, kept a couple of the players playing very, very safe. Just keeping an eye on that forward spawn there. Surely, come on, guys. He's back spawned at this point, right? Deft is still watching it.
But what if he did it again? You know, you gotta think about that one.
I mean, there is that, but like Deft is eyeballing that thing, man. He is mean mugging it. Look at him.
I mean, it's not like he has to look anywhere else right now. There's nothing coming from outside last.
I suppose.
Why would there be? They didn't succeed with full Uber. Why would they do this now? I mean, we know the answer. They're getting to really down bad territory right now. They're 2 down. 11 minutes left. Time is slowly ticking against them. That they need to get them away out of here, because otherwise Goon just wins by doing nothing.
Yeah, we do see a clean sack
nice
out of DuMmTm, who gets absolutely mixed. Aaron hitting a nice big old air shot to remove that person from the video game.
Does it count as a double air shot if guy air shooting gets also in the air? Oh, wow,
yeah,
that was just a normal air shot on the medic.
Yeah, that was a beautiful air shot on the medic to get the force out from Aaron there. Aaron and Hay going in for a bit of a... Getting the force out of young Aten. Well, I suppose not so young. I don't know.
Well, we'll see. It's a bit of an awkward one now, because they set up the spy play and then also went in for a sack, so... what does the spy do now? I think the heavy is about the best choice other than the DuMmTm, but one seems easier to stab than the other with the movement speed they have.
He's I think he's set up, okay? Because like they would not expect a spy now because there's no reason for there to be a spy. So he's gonna wander straight on through. He's gonna stab, and they're gonna freak out.
Or he just gets killed in the lobby.
He'll get memed in lobby. Players will come behind, get the force. It's looking not so good for the Goon squad here. Aten has almost 80% Uber. They're throwing themselves into the last point one by one. Deft about to be the next to go down, I would imagine. Oh boy, eating so much damage.
No,
Miguel actually getting meleeed to death by a dog.
Look, I don't want to say this was unlosable, but I mean, you had to try really hard to lose this fight.
Yeah, you really had to put in some
I respect
work.
it. It makes it exciting for the viewers. They just want to find out what if we could still lose this, you know?
Absolutely. There are a couple of players actually behind, though. Hay and Lev both going into that last point now, but there's so many players there to meet them as the Uber gets used onto there by Aten and the rest of the team. Doesn't really achieve a heck of a lot other than securing the point for them, sort of guaranteed.
See, you need to look at this Uber in the bigger picture. This Uber basically killed 2 people. Which is really good if you think about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think Marx has said if you kill 2 people with the Uber, it's a good Uber, right?
Yeah, ignoring the fact that they were in no position to get space from mid with the kills, so... I guess there's sometimes a little bit more context needed in this whole thing. Turns out space matters, and they had none of it. Alright, we'll see. Also, I just noticed the window in Saw has an arrow pointing at it. I don't know when that got there. Like, I think lore-wise, that seems very silly to put an arrow at a window. But I think it doesn't matter so much in like competitive battle time.
I never even noticed. Either way, we got a bit of a trade of Ubers on the second point there. Both teams using the Uber there. It was a little bit better for Filet Minion, but they've now lost all of their players. It's just an engineer and a med trying to defend the last point. They do have that level 3 sentry gun, but
Winnable.
there's 6 players coming at them. 6 of them. Lev's already on the point. The med has to go and try to block it. It's not able to, and there we go. 4-1 now, favouring the Goon squad.
Can't believe this is the one they win. Like, like in a full Uber ad push, where they chose to go spy. No, that's not good enough. We need 4 people to... And then we got it. But they got it. And what they got as well is map point, right? 4-1. No, on the verge of just calling it quits early.
Yes, indeedy. We see the usual sort of mid here where both teams actually play it pretty standard so far. There's normally been a bit more aggression out of at least one. We see the bomb coming out of the Goon squad now. Aaron managing to get suspended. Quite a bit of damage onto Aten there, but not enough to make it happen. We do see Tachyon and Bishaminti going down though, so it's sort of a 1-for-1 trade so far, except for the fact that you traded a soldier for a scout, which, I mean, that's still a good trade, right?
Well, I don't know, it's a rough one right now. Goon's gonna be happy with it, of course, either way, right? At this point, they're having map position, and that's gonna win you the game by itself, even if you don't get the final round. Filet Minion has such a tough comeback. This is like barely over, what, 2 minutes for each round right now. From the back foot on this one here, I mean, from a fresh mid fight, it sounds a lot better, but they have to get back into mid now the hard-earned way, and they're gonna try right away. Timer doesn't allow them to think about this much longer than this. It's just gotta work on a straight-up exchange, but no one can take position, and the medic does not have a scout to get them out early.
Yeah, no chance of getting out of that one. And with Mikau staying alive, if they can keep the rest of their team alive, they're definitely in the good books to be able to turn this one into a round. There is still a lot of fighting going on the middle point there. They're so aggressive on the side of Filet Minion. And they do lose quite a lot of their lives as a result of that aggression.
Yeah, 3 down here will make easy space on second to take for Goon squad. They're setting themselves up for success. One more round will do it, and this Uber and very much could get them there, unless it's a disaster again. But we ignore that for now. I'm sure this time we're on the redemption arc.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, look,
there's no spy, so that's big.
Yeah, they only have to deal with one sniper. Come on. Okay, well, they haven't done a good job of dealing with it so far. The first headshot comes through. Hay going down just as they get it. Do you reckon they wait it out until they get their soldier spawn?
I don't know if they even have to be honest. I mean, they can wait until he spawns and then go in before he's even back in the fight. But losing another one makes things a little bit more complicated. It's been the struggle keeping lobby control for them these past few minutes, but you do what you can. Get the demo maneuver. There's the force coming from under. That's really nice awareness to get in there like that. With people are missing like that, sort of just spawning, the other one just died. There's gonna be ice lacking somewhere, and they're taking extreme advantage of this one. Just lower area, constantly contested, one snuck behind. But that shall be it. It also is a late pause. I don't see the sub ending, so it must be a late pause into this game. Which means they didn't win instantly after this whole scenario, which is very surprising given how the fight just ended, I know.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the scrappiest fights I think we've seen so far. It seems like Goon Squad is sort of a bit lost. They're not really sure where the rest of their players are. And I mean, Filet Minion just taking advantage of that, honestly. It's they've been doing a very good job of ruining players one by one there.
Yeah, but, I mean, like I said, right, it's just like an eye missing somewhere, and they knew exactly where to exploit that in lobby, which I'm sure in a 5-4-1 game as it is right now might not matter that much anymore in the grand scheme of things, but it's a nice quality to have, I suppose, right? Eyeing these, like, missing player positions really nicely to actually take advantage of when they're down. Some good teams are missing that sometimes, and them having that, that's a good quality, even with how the game is looking right now.
Oh, yeah. But, look, we've gone re-live, I suppose. I don't know what word to use. We're seeing Adolo actually kill himself with his own trap.
I think the word you're looking for is continue.
Re-live, I don't know, man.
But yeah, unpause would also work, you know? Just the opposite of pause.
Pretty much anything that isn't re-live.
No, I guess this is a zombie game now. Look at that, they're just dragging themselves to the finish at this point. Trying to recap second. It's not going very well, it's just a disaster. They're peeking to last already, thinking how they want to do this, but actually, you don't need to pick it all. You just walk on point and hit one sticky, and actually, that one's not lethal. Never mind, get clowned on.
It has kind of fallen apart as they try to push on through. They're probably going to lose Lev as well, so it is just who is throwing himself deep in there trying to go for that last and does end up on the last, but unable to make it happen. Does pick up a Dolo. That's pretty fresh.
You know what Australia should test as a controversial test again, which we removed in Europe? A GG rule, where you can actually just surrender the game at some point. It got removed in Europe because it was abused for shitpost once exactly.
We were actually talking about that just earlier, saying how that might be on the card.
You gotta have a good like if scenario for people throwing on purpose. There might have been like a higher diff game that was like 4-1 and then the winning team surrendered to tie the match or all.
That's actually really fun.
I mean, it doesn't benefit you to lose that game, like 99% of the time, but I don't think it should happen. Also, you need to account for the fact, and I'm talking about this out of experience, GG would just end the game early. You need to account for the fact that if they do that, the STV just also could just end.
Oh, yeah, there is.
That would be very bad, no good.
In the meantime, there has been a lot of fighting going on. We did actually see Filet Minion use their Uber into the midpoint, not really achieve a heck of a lot with it and lose their head. We've just seen Goon Squad do a similar thing, but in this case they have achieved quite a bit with it, and they haven't lost them, so it's a bit better for them.
A little bit, I guess you could call it that. Right back where we came from, back last at this return to sender all the way. Just one last man standing. It's Atten on Sniper trying to fight back. Now I've seen some miraculous clips on medics going Sniper before, but they're not going where he's looking, so I don't think this is one of those.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the clips of this.
Oh wait, you guys still have 2 snipers, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, we do. They do pick up Lev, but I don't think it's going to be enough as the scout just caps the point, takes it to that win limit of 5. And the game ends with Goon Squad taking the second map and therefore taking out the semi-final.
Gonna be a rematch. They've been there once, it couldn't work out last time, but maybe, just maybe, they'll get the second chance